Hey YouTubes, hi guys. So today's tutorial is my promise to you guys. When I was sewing the fly front zipper, I told you guys that there are two ways of sewing it, and that first one that we did, I will link a video for you guys. That's the first way to install a fly front zipper. This is the second way. Okay, so let's begin, shall we? This is the trouser that the zipper is going to be inserted in, and as you can see, we haven't added in the fly front. The fly front in the other one would have been this way, would have come out this way, but we haven't done that. We've just gone with our regular curve. Okay, that is that. So a few things that I've done on here, I have interfaced it for our seam allowance. Okay, our seam allowance here is 1 inch, going in here as well, going into this crotch curve as well, but I will be sewing at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, but that will be later on. I will show it to you guys. And even though this zip is long, I'm going to be using an 8 inch zip. I couldn't find an 8 inch zip in red, so I took this and I will shorten the zip. So I have interfaced onto our 8 inch here where the zip will be ending. This is the zip, like I said. Now these are the interesting parts. These are both 8 inches and 2 inches wide. Okay, this is what we're going to be using. This has been cut on the fold, as you can see here, and I have interfaced it. This I cut twice and I interfaced as well. Now all of this has a 1/2 inch seam allowance added, so ideally I would have used 1/2 inch, but I also added the 1/2 inch seam allowance on both sides of this. Okay, so these are all the pieces you will need to sew the second type of fly front zipper. And let's get to the sewing machine. This is the first piece that we'll be treating, which is the J piece. Okay, we will now turn it right sides together and sew 1/4 inch this way on the J part of it. Okay, these need a good press, but that is all we do for this bit right now. Then for this part, one end is going to go into your waistband, but this end we will sew up. So I've sewn it at a 1/4 inch seam allowance as well. Then we will just turn it over again, give it a good press, and if you like, you can serge or overlock this other end, but I don't have any of those, so I will not be doing it for now. Okay, so we take the square portion we just did. Remember, this is the J1, this is the square one. Okay, then we attach our zipper facing up to the raw side. Remember, this side is on the fold, this is the raw side, and the raw side is also up this way because it will be going into the waistband. Okay, this is the part that we sewed up. All right, now we will just sew literally 1/4 inch, or as close as we can get to here, and yeah, that's about it. I'm putting this down because this zipper head is quite big and I don't want it getting in the way of me sewing, so I have changed to my zipper foot. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So there is a bit of a thing when you want to attach it to to the pant leg. If you want your zipper to open up on the right hand side, you attach this to the left pant leg and vice versa. Okay, this is my left pant leg, so I want my zipper to open up on the right hand side. Now we will just attach this to this and so on again, but first we have to make sure that it lines up, that this part lines up with this part of our pant leg, and we will just sew a straight stitch down. This is what it looks like. We will now top stitch this bit down. Okay, so as you can see, I have this top stitched here. Everything looks neat and nice. We will now put this away and bring the right pant leg. Okay, so now we will take this J piece and attach the raw edge to the raw edge of the other pant leg. Okay, attach the raw edges together and sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I have to say, please excuse this part. I haven't stitched in my darts, so I haven't marked my darts or stitched them in, so I need to keep this on so I know where they are. But yeah, 1/4 inch seam allowance and we should be good. So now I will just turn this over and top stitch again. Okay, so now what I have done is simply place the right pant leg over the left pant leg. Okay, I'll show you. This was the part that we sewed on, so I have just finger pressed it so that the top stitching shows here, and I have placed it just so that this right side covers this top stitching here on the left side. Okay, so it's not by a whole lot, just cover it this way. Then I have gone around to the back this way and pinned the zip to the J flap. Okay, because that's what we're going to be sewing on. All right, see that it's only pinned to the J flap. Okay, so now let's bring this out so you see what I mean, and they end at the same point. Okay, so you can basically, this is our zipper, right? We have opened it up like this. Okay, so now we are going to take this, right, open up the zip and sew along this part. Okay, along this part that we have pinned, we're going to sew as close as we possibly can. Okay, this is what that looks like. So now what I am doing is that I have put the pant legs right sides together as if I was sewing up my actual trouser. And remember that for this part we actually used a 1 inch seam allowance, but we cut up here to a 1/2 inch. So we will go for our seam allowance. Whatever seam allowance you have used here is the correct one you should use. So over to back stitch, and I will just sew at that 1 inch seam allowance. also nice if you can cut into this bit so that it lays down nice and flat, and you will sew up to this stitching here. Remember to also always keep your 1-inch seam allowance in mind. And back stitch, because that part is going to be in use a lot. So we will just cut off our threads. So I have pinned this down just so you can see what it looks like, and this is our leg. Okay, we have sewn everything all nice. Nothing an iron won't fix. All these creases will go out when you iron them. Okay, so now it is time for us to sew in the J curve for our pants. Okay, we're almost done. Hang on in there, we're almost done. So basically people just fill the imprint this way for the J and sew around, but if you're not if you don't have that much confidence in your abilities, you can always just use a pencil and mark where you actually want to sew on. Okay, also when you're sewing that, make sure this square flap is on this side so that you don't sew it into the J curve. All right, so now I will start sewing mine. I've just marked where I want mine to start, just giving it a little bit of drawing. So mine is starting off here. Okay, so this is what the J looks like. Nice and fancy if you ask me. Okay, now for the last bit, we will just sew up. I like to do this part. Just sew up just like a straight stitch here, holding this J flap and L flap together, just so it doesn't open up. I don't know, just so it does. I mean, if you check your jeans, you probably see this just stops it from opening up when you're opening up your zipper. Okay, so it's just simple straight stitch, back stitch a couple of times, nothing serious. Just do that. And we are done. Give it a nice press. Open this up. Okay, see, everything is there intact. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the second way to sew up your fly front zipper. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please do tag me on Instagram, Facebook if you give it a try, and check up other zipper tutorials that we have up on the channel, and I will put that in the description for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, peace.